Reset here and reset there. So this is
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't even know how to say, or I don't even know how that is gonna change the drafting phase. Oh, IG did not go to blue.
Yeah, Flash opted
Please
to stay
ban Yixin.
at blue side. I feel like right now it's just like they're still banning the same, right, for the side of Ignite Gaming. Angela, Baxia, yeah, definitely deserving
I
that
will
last
choose
ban
my
for
own
Your
path.
team is banning.
Should be Yixin, please. Unless the previous game, like the previous game they have
Who
banned
said there are
Yixin.
no shortcuts in
They are
life?
still gonna
I
do the same
literally
thing. So
invented
that is
one.
still a Yixin over to the hands of Team Flash.
I don't like this, man. I'm sorry, I don't really like this. It feels like they're gonna do the same thing again, right? Flash right now is just gonna what? First pick Yixin once again.
Now, my question is Roger even viable right now?
They call me a hero
Nah, I don't think
because
so.
I
You
saved my
got
You got
nation from
stronger
falling
assassins
apart.
around, right? Like you've got the likes of Yushin. The next best thing is a Lancelot as well. So I really don't think it's a good idea. And now they're gonna go back into the same exact thing. What's this? A replay of game number 1?
Yeah, that is exactly the case.
Lapu Lapu Farsa. Let's go for the side of Flash.
I mean, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
But Ignite Gaming is broken in game 1.
Except for IG. Yeah, they are broken, so please fix it.
Yeah, so they haven't fixed it, right? The first two hero picks they've selected so far is the Kalir and the Lunox. Same as game number 1. So if they really want to switch things out, I think they have to switch around the EXP and perhaps the jungler, right?
I think that for the XP laner, perhaps just leave it for later, especially if it is a hero that naturally isn't very tanky. You gotta have to hold
Your
on.
team
The
is
exact same
banning.
thing. I told you, it feels like a replay of game number 1. I don't really like this, Amstrad. I love it when teams change it up just a little bit, but now it feels like we're rewatching the same gameplay as game number 1, and it's just annoying, right? So
They should pick up their gold. Sorry, not gold. They should pick up their jungler here, which is technically the same thing as the previous game, whereby they picked the Fanny for number 3. Because I like the fact that they don't
My
pick up the
kids.
XPs
Oh,
this
there we
early.
go.
Your
Will it
team
grant
is
a bit of a
banning.
change right here. Alice going to be selected for the side of Ignite Gaming. Now, Alice is a monster recently, right? You start to see her being played a lot in MPL PH. The ultimate is such a big AoE after a long channeling time, and after that massive stun and burst, and it's unkillable, right? If you stack 5 heroes around her, she almost cannot be killed.
So it's a really good answer for an all-out team fight kind of battle.
That's right.
Exactly, which is
dark
what
comp.
Team Flash wants to go for. So, but the question is, will they pivot? Because they are not
to Growth
stuck
Castle,
to that team fight kind of game,
friend.
right? Yes, Farsa, great for team fights, a huge AoE, but this also helps them to, number 1, siege, right? So they don't have to go fight a gold lane again. They can still play marksman gold, and that will enable the team to play more on the siege style and pivot away from a general team fight kind of thing, and grab a roamer that excels in pickoff, which is something that Jay can definitely play. For example, Jay's Cho.
Pick-off comp is definitely something that Flash can go for, but I'm also thinking from the side of the gold laners, right? As long as you don't allow the Alice to basically heal off you, you really have to play with your range. Immediately thoughts came to my mind is like the
Your
Clint
team
that
is
could literally
banning.
second skill to root her as you just land fire from afar. Another thing, I would go for a crazy idea. Even Layla actually works really well against an Alice because you're off your range, or even a 1-1 at this certain stage of time. But I feel like IG may go for the 1-1 for themselves, and almost all of a sudden this is also going to be a scary draft, right? Alice goes into the ultimate. It makes it easier for the 1-1 to lay down the crossbow tank.
So what else could we possibly look out for? I think that for Team Flash, they don't have a choice, but they have to play a very safe gold
Your
laner no
team is
matter
picking.
what. As a matter of fact, IG, I don't think that they want to pick the jungle in the R4 position. Likely it would be an R5. So that will put Team Flash in a really tough spot as to what kind of goal laner they
It's
really
usually
want to
the
play.
unseen
Okay,
world that
never mind. They are
tells the
actually going to
best
R4 the jungler. So Guinevere into jungle, they have 3 magical damage dealers already.
Yeah, that's a lot of magic damage, right? For the side of IG, I think it's a lot easier to itemize against her. But also another thing is, when you fight against an Alice, all Alice has to do is start building tank, and you're just basically you're doing a lot of damage, right? And also another thing is they're also trying to look to stun somebody to basically lock them down right inside that circle when Alice is just absorbing and also using the ultimate. For the side of Team Flash though, they're going to lock into the Tigreal. The implosions are definitely going to be helpful in pushing the Alice away. And Jay has been using this Tigreal very creative in game number 1.
I would like to see whether he's going to change anything regarding the way he plays. But because of this final pick, it will definitely change a little bit. It's going to be an Esmeralda. So Lapu Lapu in the gold lane, very likely. And the Esmeralda over to the XP. Now it puts IG in a position whereby they got to have to
The past is but ashes
we
in the
have
wind.
carry.
Now there is
Yeah.
only war.
I was also thinking about carry for the side of Vanix, right? You have a Guinevere to deal with, usually played as an off tank. Alex also could be easily shredded, and then after that you also get a Kalia that also builds a lot of tank. And the same thing, that same weapon can be used against Team Flash, right? Now all of a sudden your shields from the side of Esmeralda will get shredded. Vanix now will go for the Lapu Lapu against Seiji. Don't forget, the Lapu Lapu as a gold laner also has a bit of a range, right? As long as he holds down the fort just a little bit, allow Hades to scale. But I feel like what I want to see is a bit of adaptations coming off from Ignite Gaming. Start hard invading Yushin. You cannot allow Yushin to secure 3 turtles in a row. Allow him to grow exponentially, right? And because once the Yushin start to snowball, it'll spell a lot of trouble against Ignite Gaming.
This is a very comical lineup for Ignite. I don't particularly like this because of how short range this entire team comp is. Lunox have a very short range, even when it comes down to her abilities and spells. Carry, naturally short range. However, Carry is always going to be a really good pickup because of the fact that in a normal marksman versus marksman kind of situation, you are always going to be outranged by the opponent's marksman. But in this case, you don't have a marksman on the opposite side, so it's actually a very decent answer to the fact that the opponent is trying to go for a a fighter gold lane. But if whether the carry can even reach critical mass, that's the question.
Yeah, definitely, right? A lot more pressure onto Seiji, right? But of course, he's the farmer, right? He has solid KD. He is also able to have a very good GPM as well. And yeah, he has to hit that solid mass as quickly as possible. And also it relies on how Ignite Gaming slows down tempo so that the carry goes all the way back. But Jay, burst a flicker right off the bat. I feel like there's also a Purify for the side Curtisi already burned off.
Yep, so there is quite a lot of battle spells that's already been popped. It's not a big deal though, but at least, you know, that is some value that Ignite Gaming can get for themselves. But from that value, can it be translated over to the turtle fight? That's the question. Because looking at their lineup, I feel that it might be lacking damage in order to really contest for the turtle.
I feel like right now Ignite Gaming, they really need to use Blade to basically go into the darkening form, and then after that just single target 1% down. You shred down Lapu Lapu, you shred down the Esmeralda, and then you start peeling or continue on the damage. Yuta on the Alice does have consistent DPS because of its blood thing, the passive thing. But Flash SG definitely on Hades. Oh, speaking of Hades, lurking down at the bottom. I think gets spotted out by Rapid Dude though.
Shouldn't be a problem right now. There is quite a bit of a party down in the bottom lane, and I would like to believe that Ignite Gaming is very much ready to be able to swarm in to deal with the turtle. As you can see, Rapidude as well as Blade, they will shove the way to the middle lane, leaving Curtisi back in the lane at level 3. Only after she clears the wave, then she's level 4. So if they are able to, they want to spring into action.
Yuta getting tagged by quite a bit of damage. Hades actually saving onto the Mountain Shocker, so that's actually good news for the side of Flash. We'll be able to use it right now. Zack looking for an opportunity to jump in. We'll be able to find somebody from the side of Flash, but here comes the Mountain Shocker as well. Buzzbird given over the side of Flash SG already. Curtisi picking it up. Yuta and also Rapid Dude throwing Vanix all the way deeper behind enemy lines while Hades works on the turtle right here. Bear baiting the rest of the members from the side of Ignite Gaming away as Hades secures the first turtle and goes in for the strike. Yuta all of a sudden doesn't have a lot of damage anymore and also HP. Try to absorb as much as possible, but you never want to chase an Alice with the passive on.
Well, he can't really do much because of the lack of numbers around the vicinity, right? So Yuta gonna have to go back home, but all in all, it's a 1-for-1 trade. Sounds great, right? But Curtisi is the one that got a kill. the XP, Lapu Lapu is the one that died. On the side of Ignite Gaming, the one that got a kill is Seiji. So that's actually pretty darn good for Ignite to further accelerate the growth of Seiji. Not quite enough yet though, because Flash still gotten the turtle for themselves in the end.
Yeah, so it's kind of like an equal stalemate. It's the exact same thing that we saw in game number 1. Flash had a bit of a back foot in the early game, but hold on a second, Mountain Sugar once again, that's going to be a Tsunami Slam, catching on to Jay. Jay, unable to go into Implosion, will have to die for that one, but Hades returns the favor onto Zac. Once again, the jungle going down is expensive for the side of Ignite Gaming.
Value for Team Flash. It seems like as though Team Flash, they're very willing to give Jay away because, hey, you take my robot, I take your jungle.
Yeah.
I win in the end of the day. And they just kind of have to grind that over and over again.
Yeah, in chess terms, basically trading what, a knight for a queen. I think that's definitely worth it for the side of Flash.
Is it really a knight? I would kind of take this as a rook.
Knight actually has more value.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll take that. I'll take that. It's been a long time since I played chess though, but it seems like Team
You will
Flash...
want to another board game.
No. I have sunken deep enough. Maybe not yet. I could think more. Hobbies.
Yes, speaking about getting as much economy as possible, right? Ignite Gaming, Seiji actually picking up the assist is definitely helpful, right? If Seiji picks up another 2 more kills, I think that critical mass will be achieved. But hold on a second, there's come the implosion. But Rapidu getting pushed out. CZ stun lock, no way for him to run, gets bursted down. But Bear, one-man army right here. The Bear Trap activated onto Zac, Yuta, and also Blade. Still able to limp away. But it's also once again Flash finding value up top side.
And eventually with the turtle gonna be available down in the bottom lane. We do have Team Flash that have got about 2,000 gold advantage on top of Ignite Gaming. Top lane T1 destroyed. So the way that Team Flash is playing at this point in time is completely ube. They don't need to they don't need to care so much about a gold laner needing time to farm the lanes whatsoever. They can just bump from objective to objective. They still have a Yushin, so they can definitely play sieging.
You don't want to give the second turtle over the side of Yushin once again. There's not a lot of contest coming off of Ignite Gaming. They're literally giving these for free and allowing Yushin to scale.
The lack of high ground, buddy. This is hands down because of the lack of high ground. This entire lineup for Ignite Gaming is very difficult to kind of punch glove, right? If they want to jump in, they need to be committal. And they know that, okay, we gotta have to do this, we gotta have to do that. But we actually saw Rapidu do that, right? Rapidu went straight in, Tsunami Slam, hoping that that person will be bursted down. And it did happen with the power of Zac as well as Blade, Violet Requiem, plus Darkening. But that also puts Zac in a very tough spot. Why? Because they are a committal team.
Yeah, and not only just the committal part, right? They're also being split apart by tons of CC. Jay and also Vanix always breaks all these combos, making it super hard for the side of Ignite Gaming to basically coincide all the skills all together.
Because Team Flash, it doesn't really matter who's the first one to run. They still have a way.
Okay, here comes the feather airstrike, a bit of a scare tactic landing down, the artillery strike from afar. Seiji's still farming up though. I think that's the only thing. Once Seiji hits critical mass, maybe there's a bit of chance for the side of Ignite Gaming.
But that would take long. It's only like 6 minutes and 50 seconds.
Another 5-7 minutes?
I think that 5-7 minutes might still be a far cry. It's not 1:0:1. I think it's fair to say by okay, if we add on another 5 minutes, his gold should be somewhere around 8k.
The Mountain Shocker once again reviews, gives so much information, and you know what Team Flash does with the information? They crack 2 turrets concurrently.
I'm not too sure whether they will even be able to do anything to kind of come back, because this is actually a very punishing match in terms of comeback mechanic. There is not a lot of ways that you'll be able to come back in terms of the general battlefield feature, plus the fact that they don't have a lineup that really allows them to have a massive power spike at any time within that 5 minutes mark. And Team Flash just so happened to have that power spike within that 5 minute mark, because we gotta have to look at Curtisi, right?
There. Taking on to Zac. Zac received some form of the damage on the side of the airstrike. The Mountain Shocker will review. Turtle immediately forgotten because right now Flash, SG, kind of far apart, right? Right now, Ignite Gaming, they're just not too sure what they're gonna do, right?
Okay. I do like what Team Flash is doing. Completely conceded the turtle, not wanting to touch the turtle, just so that they can get the earliest possible Lord that they could get. So the next upcoming Lord is going to be 8 minutes and 41 seconds.
Rapidude, there's a flicker, picks up, but Jay comes into implosion. Hades down low just a little bit more. Zack onto the chase, will be able to take it down. Defended airstrike, lands. Jay kills the Lord from Flash SG. No retribution required as Ignite Gaming will be there to clean it all the way up. Kurt Greasy, the only surviving member for the side of Flash. Who needs a retribution anyways?
Okay, so the Ignite, they managed to get a wipeout. That is absolutely great. That's what I talk about, committal. But the very fact that they are able to win in that team fight is amazing to me. I would love to be able to see, you know, how that eventually played out from the start to the end. Ultimately, I would say that it is all about that catch potential, which Rapidude managed to pull off. But
That was a beautiful catch.
who did he catch again?
Hades.
Oh, that makes more sense.
They call it to Hades, busts him down low just a little more. Zack dealt the finishing blow, but Zack unable to land a retribution because he's the one that took the Lord instead.
The funny thing is, Zack didn't manage to have the opportunity to pop the retribution as well. He had his retribution off cooldown throughout the entirety of the night.
And for the airstrike once again, here comes the defense on the side. Ignite Gaming, the Lord is pillaging all the way up top, but Seiji is starting to shred. Look at that! Light Wheels go! Seiji picks up a killing spree, and now Utah slapping onto Hades, and now it's just gonna be 3 members down for the side of Team Flash. Ignite Gaming still going strong though, but Hades takes down Utah.
That's a 3-4-2 trade, but ultimately it is still a relatively good trade for Ignite because they managed to take down the Lord, they don't lose any inhibitor turrets, and they pick up the 3 as well.
Yeah, they kill more of the high-value members for the side of Team Flash. All of a sudden, that gold lead is starting to equalize just a little bit. 1.7k in this part. Knows how much gold, how much item he needs, and that's where he will shine. He reminds me a little bit of Sage, just a little bit, and now Hades knows what's up. Goes into Purify right now. Sage knows just a little bit. Shut down by the side of Kurt Greasy. Right in the knee to bear the airstrike. Yuga goes into the ultimate, but Jay and the members on the side of Team Flash are losing steam because Ignite Gaming, Utah is absorbing all the HP all the way back. Phoenix and Jay has to make for the run for the hills. Utah on the chase, unfortunately will not be able to land the first skill as Flash loses 3 members for 2.
Oh, Alice is huge though.
Definitely.
I think that is definitely going to be the game changer of Team Ignite Gaming. Seiji didn't have any impact in that fight because number one, he was slightly caught out. He had to use the Purify. Decided to turn back because Zack went in for the Violent Raptor down onto Hades. In fact, he should have the idea and he should be able to see that there is a big mass of people from Team Flash that's coming in from the southern part going up north to deal with him. So it would have been so much better for him to wrap around and get behind his entire team to deal more passive damage instead of taking a shortcut to deal with Hades instead. In my honest opinion, leave Zack alone. He's there to save your life, and he does have the Magical Thumb to actually run away, or the second phase of Magical Thumb to just kind of port herself away.
Yeah. I feel like Ignite Gaming has to repeat the same thing they did in the first Lord fight, right? Single out Hades, Rapid to just burn the flicker just to try to pick and make sure that it lands the ultimate onto Hades. So, but it's like a heart surgery that Ignite Gaming is doing. One wrong move, you'll nick a main artery and the patient just dies.
Honestly, in the meantime, for Ignite Gaming, it kind of seems like they are, in your context, they're doing surgery.
Yep. But
But for Team Flash, they are not exactly that meticulous. They're just going straight in for your juggler.
yeah, speaking about straighting in, Vanix, immediately get melted by Sage's ultimate light wheels right now. Going for Implosion, will be able to catch onto 3, but the follow-up coming up from Flash is not really there. Utah managed to zone out. Curtis, Bear's the only one that will be able to lift away as Ignite Gaming deals with the Lord. It's a free Lord. Utah screening Bear. There's no way that Bear will be able to go ahead to the Lord pin. And now Utah and Bear, wet pool noodle fight. But it doesn't really matter because Ignite Gaming secures the Lord and secures top bottom turret.
And this pretty much means that Ignite Gaming have got such a advantage to move straight in.
Yeah, and definitely Bear, unfortunately get picked out and singled out though. Banix right here, unfortunately, will be responded, but look at his HP bars, immediately get melted by Seiji. Jay has to dash away though, and Ignite Gaming, this is the critical mass. Now Seiji that we're talking about.
It's not over just yet. We do have the Lord that will still be crashing in and will take the T3 turret in the middle lane. Team Flash now have got the middle lane and the bottom lane completely destroyed. Ignite have got a massive advantage because of the Lord, and now with about 4,000 gold lead, they're just going to play a little bit safe and play possum for now. The economical gap, I mostly just want to look at between the gold laners, right? Actually, no, you can't exactly see it that way.
Yeah, you can't because carry's items are slightly cheaper. Number one, number two, he already secures a malefic gun, means that he has gonna get more range, and that's super delicious for a carry, right? Remember, carry's main weakness is the short range, and now extended range definitely gonna be very helpful.
Because of the fact that there's 3 late gamers from Ignite Gaming, 14 minutes in, this amount of gold is pretty much on track, I would say. This is the normal curve of what I want to see.
Royal Spider Requiem on to Bear right there. Here comes a feather airstrike to no avail. Katiti has to fly away. Utah gets pushed back. The flickers all the way forward. Bear try to split up fight just a little bit. All of a sudden, hey, Flash is a little bit disjointed, and Ignite Gaming will take advantage for it.
The ability to shred the front lines is starting to come into effect. And Team Flash, they are definitely going to be scared now. Vanix, Bear, as well as Jay, they can't just go in and just face tank everything now, because you are facing off against Seiji. And Ignite Gaming can play according to their win con and be committal because they have reached critical mass.
Yeah.
They can just jump in. Not a single carry in the world. Yuta can survive for days. So he's likely going to be the one with the max amount of confidence. And guys, I'm going to open up the map for you. I'm going to jump right into the heart of Team Flash. You guys decide what to do next.
Yeah, and now Rapid Dude can basically pick up Jay, right? All of a sudden, remember, we talk about how it could be an easy gap closer, but hold on a second, Tsunami Slam into a Purified, mind you. The Feather Airstrike will be able to land onto Rapid Dude. He walks away scot-free. And Ignite Gaming right here, they can rinse and repeat this over and over again, picking up members one after another, allowing Seiji to shred.
It's all about the bravest warriors. Being able to be CC immunity, or rather immune to Rapidun, especially he knows and he can see that, okay, he's definitely coming in for me.
Yeah.
It just makes him waste an ultimate. Or I would say ulti for ulti. So that actually helps Team Flash to kind of buy a little bit more time by eliminating that pick-off ability from Ignite Gaming.
Yeah, this Lord's definitely going to be very pivotal for the side of Flash, but we're going to start with this one. Rapid Dude will be able to toss right there. Hades goes in, try to do some damage, but he cannot step all the way in.
Seiji.
Quite easy, landing down the damage from above, but Seiji starting to shred. Down low just a little bit more. Hades makes, oh, he falls. Seiji picks up a triple kill already. Ignite Gaming unable to basically push forward onto the Lord. They don't really need it anymore because they have the win con, and they just have to go all the way in with critical mass. And Seiji just shreds one after another and wipe out for the side of Flash as Ignite steals one game back from Team Flash.
Now, my oh my, Ignite! Literally ignited the fire within when they found their win condition and they managed. It's gonna be Yuta. Honestly, I really find
There's
the
a lot of
MVP
differing
of
opinion.
Yuta. Yeah, very differing opinion, especially as an EXP laner is kind of like a, yeah, he has massive amount of impact.
Yeah, so we believe the prod is definitely a jungler, right? Because my money's on Seiji, right? Because Seiji was just knowing his limits of the hero, and then after that, once he hit critical mass, he just started to shred. But of course, enabled by, like what you mentioned, the EXP laner, but also enabled by the jungler as well.
Everyone plays a very vital role to be able to reach the end game like that.
Yep.
I would say that that game is not exactly about the fact that, oh, Ignite Gaming played fabulously through all the way from the start to the end. It's more of the fact that Team Flash did not manage to make full use of the advantage that they had in the early stages. The power about having a fighter go lanes is that you leave the lane so much earlier and you have so much impact in team fights all the way from the start of the game. The fact that they managed to do that and push Ignite Gaming to wit's end, I think that it's great. But the single mistake at the first Lord is the one that cost them the game. Because they can end the game within that sub 10 minutes. They can definitely end the game within sub 10 minutes as long as they actually credited that Lord for themselves.
Yeah, I think it's just boils down to, if you can, this kind of double fighter matchup is really risky, right? If you don't really end the game on time, this is exactly what happens, especially when you have a late game carry on the other side of Ignite Gaming in the form of the carry, right? You can see that his goal, his KDA is just absolutely insane. And even from the game stat, it really tells a story that yes, Flash SG has a stronger early to mid, but they're unable to close it out because, you know, even though Hades is able to snowball just a little bit more, but once Seiji activates the target prioritization, start locking onto Hades when he jumps all the way in, Seiji does get busted down, it is immediately doom for the side of Flash SG.
Oh, man. Now, of course, itemizations and all that jazz, it really comes down to the point whereby they have a lot of magical damage, right?
Yeah.
Yuda, Blade, Zack, they all deal magical damage. And in terms of being able to defend against magical damage, let's take a look at how Team Flash fared against that. They have Radiant Armor onto Bear, no Athena's Shield, so dealing with burst capabilities from Blade is definitely out of question for Bear. In the meantime, for Vanix, does not have Athena's Shield, so definitely will be shredded by Bear from Blade, and Jay as well. So I think the lack of Athena's Shield is something that really allows Blade to bruise the entirety of Flash SG. So whoever is just going to be caught in almost immediately, then they're most likely gonna die. But in terms of being able to prolong the fight and being able to stay alive, that Radiant Armor helps a lot to deal with Zack as well as Yuda.
Yeah. And if you notice Yuta's the items, right, it's just pure tank. And it actually does a quite decent amount of damage, right? Just like take a look, 40k, I think it's like what, third highest damage in the side of the team. And it all comes from the ability to basically stay in the fight as long as possible, deal a lot of damage across, and all of a sudden, you know, the likes of your glass shields like Hades and also Curtizi glass cannons, right? They're immediately getting broken very easily.
So I would say that it's really unfortunate for Team Flash. It just keeps replaying in my head how that first Lord fight went out. They have advantage.